Hello, it's speculation time on the latest of the cards. So, in this video, I just kind of want to talk about what it's like owning Magic cards and trying to get Magic cards. And I'm really talking about the paper, not online. So, what I'm looking at here is just MTG Goldfish's top losers, winners, trending cards in Standard. And some of these I predicted a while back. So, if you watch some of my earlier videos, you might have had, well, you'll just see, if I may humble brag, that I have somewhat of an intuition for these cards, being that I've played it since I was like 11 years old. And I can just look at a card and read it and think, and just realize, oh, that's not very good, or oh, whoa, 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 that's better than people realize. So not everybody has that ability. A lot of people wait for the trends and then they think, oh, everybody else says it's good. Now I say it. Now I think it's good. Well, I'm not quite that way, and it's not just me. I have friends I talk to, and they have insights too, and we've all just been playing this game for a long time. So, Field of the Dead. Oh, come on. This was an obvious speculation. When I first read this card, I was like, yeah. So, naturally, if I see a card that's like 50 cents, 50 cent rare, and it's obviously OP, like Field of the Dead, I believe it was 50 cents at one point. What I do at that point is I usually, I don't know, just drop a few bucks and buy a boatload of them, because look at the return value. Come on. I'm no Timmy. Where am I? Brazen. Okay, so just to go through these, Field of the Dead was the obvious one that I just knew would rise, and it is. Some of these also surprise me sometimes, like this Legion's End card has kind of taken me by surprise. When I read it, I thought it was sort of, I mean, it's just situational, but it seems to keep going up. It's not that big yet. Spawn of Mayhem was an obvious one. It's been going up recently with all this mono black stuff happening. And I haven't been paying that much attention to the deck list, but it's no surprise to see Spawn of Mayhem go in value. This card is just excellent. It's an excellent value for its cost, and if you get it up for your spectacle, even better. Murderous Rider is a no-brainer. Killing a creature or planeswalker, instant speed, and they get a lifelink little guy. Steelbane Hydra. I don't know what's going on with this. It's flipping around. It's going up and down. It seems more like a sideboard card. It's okay. I don't see it necessarily continuing to go up. I think it's going to go down, because it is on the losing trend, I think, too, while being on the daily winning trend. So, yeah, we'll get to that. I'm just going to talk about these daily ones. The Hydroid Krasis just keeps going up. I mean, what were they thinking when they printed this card, really? It's really darn good. I don't know about Brazen Borrower. I mean, it's a good card. This seems a little high for it. I guess it's going to keep going up. It's hard to speculate on. Kenrith seems like he's going to keep going up. He's way stronger just than people originally thought, just given his versatility and everything he can do, and him fitting in basically any deck. Even with the smallest splash of white, you can get him in there. He's just so good. And what else? Once Upon a Time's on here too, on the top 10 for the day. This is just the day, October 8th, or I don't know if this goes off yesterday, October 7th. But Once Upon a Time has been slowly rising. Man, Field of the Dead is really picking up though. Okay, so let's look at the losers and talk a little bit about those. Some of these were obvious. Arcane Signet being a common and starting out at like 35 bucks a week ago or whatever it was. Yeah, it's going to keep tanking. If you want to make money off of these, you're running out of time to short sell, because it's probably going to bottom out at like $2 or $3. So if you want to short sell them, good luck. It's going to be hard to sell them. They're just, going lower and lower so quick, which is a no-brainer. I don't. The market's weird. Like, why did this card even go to $35 to begin with? Well, I kind of get why, because everybody wanted one, but it's common, and people were just scared they weren't going to be able to get enough of them, but that doesn't seem to be happening. Oko has dropped a little bit, which sort of surprises me. This guy's highly... Oh, this is not the Oko I was thinking of. This is a legendary one. Well, I don't know. He seems okay. I need some more play testing on him, but he's not as much of a bomb as the other 6-drop planeswalkers, and that seems pretty obvious. And some of these other commander cards are just going slowly down. Fairy Formation, somewhat dropping. Pretty cool card, but a little pricey. Corvold, Slightly dropping. Foulmire Knight. Oh, I don't understand why this was so high to begin with, but apparently it has dropped suddenly. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad card. It is not a bad card. Shimmer Dragon's going down a bit. So he's still at the $10 mark. That's pretty good. Knight of the Ebon Legion has dropped a tiny bit today, but he did just have a really big price hike. This guy went up real quick, and he's still strong. There's no doubt about that. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up going up more, but I don't see him going down much more. I don't know what's going on here. Planes tanking 78%. I think it's just the market's kind of adjusting a little bit. So on the weekly change, let's look at these. These are a little more interesting. Kenrith, of course, still up there. He's going to keep going up. I wouldn't be surprised if he hits the $25, $30 mark before too long. Golos. Look at this percent change. People finally realize how good Golos is. A friend of mine who read this card and immediately thought this was OP, and it's obviously OP. It's such a good card. There's no doubt about that. But like I said, insights, man. You either have them or you don't. This is obviously one of those cards that's just a complete and utter bomb. If you don't kill this guy immediately, you're going to lose the game. And that happens in every deck he's in. So I think he's going to continue to rise. We started speculating on him at about his $2 mark, or maybe it was even $1 mark. And of course I managed to snag a few, but now they're just going to keep going up. So if you want to get Golos for cheap, this might be your last chance. He's probably going to... I would not be surprised if he hits a $20 mark at some point, but I don't think it's going to happen. I see more of a 15, but you never know. He is very, very strong. Hydroid Krasis, of course, just going to continue to rise as it's... If you're playing blue and green, you pretty much have to have 4 of these. He's that good. Drawing cards and gaining life and getting a flying trample creature is just solid. Who would have thought? Cavalier Flame has been on the rise a little bit. He's one of the stronger Cavaliers, I think. The Veil of Summer has been an uncommon from M20 that is just continually on the rise. Turns out, getting hexproof on all your permanents and you from blue and black is just insanely strong. It stops counters, it stops discard, it stops mill, it shuts your opponent down for an entire turn sometimes, and you get to draw a card. Weakness is it's purely sideboard. If you're playing against mono red in your main deck, and these are kind of useless. But yeah, it's kind of insane to see it at that price, and it's just continuing to rise really quickly. Teferi Time Raveler. I honestly think this guy's a lot weaker than people think, but I get it. He's 3 mana for a bounce and a draw card, and your opponents can't cast during your turn. So he shuts down a lot of stuff, but he's just so easy to wipe out. If you've got any sort of board, you can just swing into him next turn and he's dead. So that's why I think he's a little weak, but I get it. I'm just a little surprised, I guess. He's still strong though, don't get me wrong, and he probably will continue to go up some. The Great Henge, a lot of people are saying this is the best card from Throne of Eldraine, and I kind of agree. It's just, once you get this in play, and especially if you get it in, you cast it for 2 mana, it taps for 2 immediately, and then you just start casting creatures. It has that cascade effect of, if you keep drawing creatures, you keep playing them and drawing and playing them and drawing, and suddenly in one turn you have a giant board, and they all have +1/+1 counters on them. This card is a bit ridiculous in its power. Voracious Hydra continuing to rise slightly. No surprise there, a super solid creature. I mean, being able to double in size or fight something, some amazing versatility. I mean, you play him for 4 mana, he's a 4/5 trample, or he's a 2/3 that fights something. Play him for 5 mana, he's a 6/7 trample. He just scales so hard with that casting cost that even when you play him for 1 and get him as a 1/2, or I'm sorry, play X as 1, 3 mana 1/2 that fights something, or 2/3 trample. The versatility is just amazing. You can just, it's one of green's best creature removal spells, and it's got versatility all over it. Now I didn't see something I was kind of expecting to see. Let's view more on this daily change. See what we're looking at here real quick. And let's look beyond the number 10. Looks like this shifted a little bit since what? I don't know. why don't the now? Okay, I guess I had to refresh. Everything is just completely different. I guess this refreshed while I was recording. That's interesting. Well, looks like Kenrith stopped moving for the day, so he's kind of topped out at 16 for a minute. Hydroid Crisis still on the rise. Sir Gwen suddenly ticked back in this direction. Sir Gwen's not bad. Vigilance, Menace, and drawing cards for your equipped creatures attacking is pretty good, and being able to equip for free. Yeah, I think Sir Gwen's going to be somewhat stable for a bit. Spawn and Mayhem continuing to rise, no surprise there. Shimmer Dragon back on the plus, Legioned in, and Golos still just ticking up slightly. Veiled Summer, of course, Great Henge, and Vraska on here for the daily. So everything on the weekly still looks about the same. Just the daily flipped on me there. Gideon's Company on the rise. It's a War of the Spark card and it's up to $4. Uncommon. That one I wasn't even aware of. Whenever you gain life, oh yeah, I've played against the Summon Arena, and yes, this gets big really fast. 2 counters on it, and then you can pay 3 to put a loyalty counter, or 4 for loyalty counting on Gideon, which is kind of a whatever, but the 2 counters per life gain is pretty big. This guy just gets giant so quick. Vraska, I don't know what's going on here, but looks like she's still confirmed strong. I haven't seen her played a whole lot, to be perfectly honest, but that's just my experience recently. She does indeed seem strong. I still don't know what's going on with these cards. There's these random commons that are worth a ton from M20 that are not any good. What can anybody explain why these are always moving up in standard when no one plays them in standard? Help. Okay, Agent of Treachery. I think people are starting to realize how good this is too. This is one of my card I think I speculated on early on when it first came out. It was worth 50 cents. I was like, whoa. So look, you just bounce it, you flicker it, whatever. It doesn't even matter. People play this thing all kinds of ways, and it ruins your game. This guy just wins. And if you end up controlling 3 or more of their permanents, then you just get to draw 3 more. This guy snowballs. Like the biggest snowball you've ever seen. Oh, Realm Cloak Giant. This guy is very good. It's pretty much a Wrath of God with a giant creature attached for later. Yeah. I think this guy is a little better than people originally thought as well. So he's probably going to, I don't know, I'm guessing he'll float around 5, but maybe he'll go up a little depending on how much play he gets. And let's see what else we got here. Oh yeah, this is just another one of those commons that's big for some reason from M20. I don't even know. Mirror Maid's going up a little bit. I think this will continue to rise. This is a really cool card that a lot of people are going to want. The old Dreadhorde General, she's of course awesome, but that's only a 1% rise. See, these percents mean more, or yeah, they mean more on a higher price card, obviously, because it's a higher amount of time. So when you see something go from like 325 to 375, it'll say a huge percent, but it's only like a 50-cent gain. Mace of the Valiant. This card seems pretty cool. I think it'll probably keep going up. Vigilance is nice, and all that plus is nice. Blood Crypt, I think this is seeing a little bit of a rise thanks to the Night decks. Night of Autumn. And I don't really have too much to speculate on the rest of these. This is one I sort of overlooked, though. That seems to be doing all right. The Chittering Witch. And Castle Lochthwain, this is one of the lands I thought was better. It is on the rise a little bit. Just being able to dump your hand and then draw a card for 1 life on one of your swamps basically is, it's a no-brainer. You want this in your black deck. Questing Beast, he's sitting high. I don't know why he gained 3 cents. This Fires of Invention card is good. It's really good. It's actually ridiculous, and it turns out being able to double your mana is always good. It's basically what this does, because you can cast 2 spells that cap out your mana. So rather than 1, you just get, it's akin to something like, I don't know, any of the other mana doublers, Mirari's Wake or something. It basically just feels like you're getting double mana, and then, well, it does shut down casting spells on your opponent's turn, so that kind of hurts. But some decks don't care about that once they can drop 2 bombs every turn for free, or what feels like free. Cavalcade's still annoying. I don't know, not much else today here. We're getting really far down in the marks. People are starting to notice Oathsworn Knight. He's still really cheap. I'd recommend picking up some Oathsworn Knights if you haven't already, if you're one of those speculators who wants to own cards that go up, because I think this is better than people realize. And there's a lot to explain, and you might not agree with me, but he seems to be on the slight rise, so maybe some people are starting to see it. Okay, well, a 4/4 for 3 is not bad. And, well, his ability seems like a downside, but it's somewhat of a positive too, because you can't just outright kill him. You have to keep chump blocking him. You have to keep blocking him. You have to keep spending your cards and your time and your mana on him over and over. And it turns out that card advantage is good. So, yeah, a 4/4 is swinging at you, and you're going to feel obligated to chump block it and not block something else, just so he loses 1 power toughness. And if you have something like an Icon of Ancestry out, then, he doesn't necessarily die quite as easy. I don't know if there's a huge point with Icon of Ancestry, but he just doesn't die when he's 0/0. But his last part of his ability says he stops for any damage at that point, so he would still die. But yeah, it just turns out that card advantage is good, and this guy sort of leans into it, just being hard to kill and having to be blocked multiple times. So I think he's just a little better than people realize, and that's my speculation for him. Leyline of Abundance seems to be one of the better ley lines. Seems to be one that's actually useful when you drop it. The others are just like, well, I don't care. There's one card out of your hand that I don't have to worry about. But this one's like, oh, you're gonna have a bunch of mana, and you can put counters on your creatures later. Yikes. So I think this one's going to continue to rise. The fact that it's only $1.38 kind of blows my mind. I see this going to 8 to 10 at some point, maybe only 5. I don't know. Definitely $1.38's nutty cheap. So this card, I don't know if this is good. It seems okay. Anything else to speculate on? Cavalier of Gales is clearly good, but I expect to see it to continue to rise. Nightpack Ambusher is extremely good. He's going to continue to rise. I think so. Another one of those random cards that okay. No, I don't know. I don't know what this is. I don't remember seeing this in M20 when I was cracking M20. Maybe it came from one of those decks. Planeswalker decks or something. Or I don't even know. Gadwick the Wizened seems to be going up a bit. I'm a little surprised by this. He's good, but maybe he's better than I realized. Being able to tap people's stuff is nice, but it's not that big of a deal. He has a 3/3 for 3 at the worst, and you can just draw cards if you have more than 3 mana, so that's pretty cool. He's not a bad card. Sort of like Hydroid Krasis or something in the draw way. I don't know if that's actually a good comparison, but he has X and he has draw, but even more draw. Drawn from Dreams. I see a lot of people play this, and it seems to keep going up. I really don't like that this is a sorcery, but I guess if you're playing him in the same deck you're playing the Teferi, then you can instant this. So it's not so bad. Then Pelt Collector on the rise a little. Alright, that's enough for today's speculation. There's not a whole lot else to speculate on. We'll just take a quick look at Modern and see if we can speculate there a little bit. Modern. See what's going on with the old Modern. I play a lot of Modern too. Or a decent amount, and we've got some interesting ones on the daily. I like to look at the weekly. It's usually a better view, but sometimes the daily is pretty telling too. Of course, these boxes are going up. These ones are probably going to continue to rise. I mean, this is just such an easy activation to get. You just have to have 3 artifacts. And Mox Opal counts as 1. So, just such an easy activation to get. Beldican Orrery, looks like it's on the rise a little. Solid commander card, the sword, the fire and ice. Turns out card draw is good. You'll hear me say that all the time. Ether Veil. Vial. What? This, I'm not even aware of this card. It's a $40 uncommon. What have I been missing? Oh, this card. Never mind, I've seen this. Yeah, this is good. This is really good for 1 mana and just being able to drop creatures with a plain old tap. What? What were they thinking when they printed this? Did they not read their own card and just, yeah, just make it an uncommon. People will barely play it. Are you kidding me? You can't even. Oh, jeez. Yeah, this is probably old news to you guys, but I'm not surprised that this is $41 just reading it. What I'm surprised at is that it's a common, it costs 1 to bring out, and it costs no mana to activate. That's what surprises me. Everything about it, basically. Just what were they thinking? Misty Rainforest, yeah, Simic is. Everybody's loving the Simic right now, seems like. Bitter Blossom. Oh, it's Fairy Rogue. It's maybe has something to do with this. Yeah, this is a cool card. It's not much different than the one from War of the Spark that creates zombies every turn. So maybe that's a hint that the one from War of the Spark will go up too. Seedboard Muse, of course, naturally always going to go up. Same with Liliana, probably. Ensnaring Bridge. Who wouldn't want an Ensnaring Bridge? Let's see what else we got here. Let's see if we got anything new. Looking for some big percents. Heartseeker. Unattached to destroy target creature. Okay, that's pretty good. A little expensive to equip, but it's $1.50 and rising quick, apparently. And there's my phone. Alright, I'm going to wrap this episode up. Doesn't look like we're seeing anything too crazy. Peace out, you guys. Ooh, Mox Amber.